Hello, fabulous friends, fans, and superstars. Welcome to your horoscope for the week of November 26, 2017. I am your astrologer, Nadiya Shah. Thank you for being here. What an amazing week it is. We have got a very special occurrence taking place. Well, actually, the very special occurrence taking place is in 3 weeks' time. That is when Saturn will change signs. So be on the lookout on YouTube for the Saturn special that I'll be doing overview. And of course, you can log on to my website, nadiyashah.com, to download the Saturn special for your sign. But before we get there, before we even get to Saturn changing signs, Saturn is still in the sign of Sagittarius and really wants to leave this sign with a party. So the party starts now. There is Mercury meeting Saturn in the sky, as well as Venus moving into the same part of the sky. So lots of energy happening in at least one area of life. Now think back to the last 3 years, the better part of the last 3 years, as Saturn has been moving through the sign of Sagittarius. This is where all of us in at least one area of life were asked to grow up, show up, and actually do the work. Saturn is about honoring the physical realm, honoring the earth school, as it's called. So we have this spiritual part of us, which is wonderful. And it's said that we are spiritual beings having an earthly experience. But Saturn likes to think that we actually are having an integrated experience, that there's the earthly and the spiritual working in tandem, working hand in hand. And Saturn asks us to honor the physical realm, to understand that it is a space of learning, to understand that it has certain laws, certain give and take, if you will. As much as you give is as much as you're going to get. And it asks us to actually do something, to make something of the physical realm as a way of earning our own self-respect. It is a self-respect that is earned. That is part of the gift of Saturn. So all of us in at least one area of life have had to go through these lessons of growing up. Now, as a collective, you think about Saturn in the sign of Sagittarius. Wherever Saturn goes, there's a certain limitation, a holding on to tradition, if you will. So we have seen this in our universal philosophies. We've seen this in our understanding of things like countries and borders and identity, especially where it comes to things like religious identity. Well, now here we are. We've got Saturn meeting Mercury this week, and next week Mercury will go retro and meet Saturn again. And actually, because of how slowly Mercury is traveling, he's just kind of hanging out with Saturn for like 2 weeks, which is an unusually long time. This doesn't happen very often. So what this says to me is this idea of body and earth meeting mind and intellect. This is an integration, if you will. This is us making sense of, having communications, having connections, and making sense on a mind level of practical matters. And making sense in particular of the last 3 years. Now, thankfully, because Venus is in the mix, it means that there is love as well. We are asked to bring love and gentleness and kindness to ourselves as we've been learning these very lessons. As I look at this, I feel like this is a pivotal sort of, going away party, if you will. Saturn won't come back to this sign for well over 2 decades, so we're all going to get a break in at least one area of life. And it'll actually be in January, in the new year, that Saturn and Mercury will meet again, like their final of 3 meetings as part of this Mercury retrograde season. But by then, Mercury will be out of shadow. Both of these planets will be in different signs. They will both be in the sign of Capricorn, and that is going to be the reward moment. The way that Saturn likes to do things is the rewards do come. You do the work, but the results aren't always immediate. You have to think long term. And the rewards come once Saturn has left the particular sign, has left a particular area of life and moved on. So those rewards for all the sacrifice and the work and the challenges and the soul searching that we've been doing in at least one area of life for the last 3 years will come once we get into January. And of course, I'll be here to talk about it as we go along. You might want to watch your Saturn special once again. The Saturn in Sagittarius special for your sign is on YouTube. So you might want to watch that again to get a further understanding of the depth of how it is that this culmination is likely to speak to you in your unique journey. Now also this week, Mars is going to stand across the sky from Uranus. This happens once every 2 years, so it is rare in its own right. And these two planets standing across the sky from each other, well, they bring surprises, that's for sure. They will bring a surprise. The thing is that Mars right now is moving through a part of the sky that has to do with partnerships. It has to do with diplomacy as well. And I feel as I look at this that especially as a collective, there may be some very shocking, very surprising news that comes out in this regard that has us looking at partnerships differently. In particular, of course, on the world stage, we may have some things sort of surprising us in terms of diplomacy or diplomacy efforts that took place, particularly in the past, because of course, Mercury is in shadow. But having said that, for us as part of our individual journeys, as I look at this, I feel like this is a real wake-up call, if you will, a moment of surprise, a moment where either it's going to go one of two ways. When Uranus stands across the sky from Mars, it either is an absolute delight, it surprises us, it delights us, it makes us jump for joy, it leaps us forward into our future, or it comes as a surprise that we are not so crazy about, but in the fullness of time, we do have that leap of joy. So that's what you want to remember, regardless of the immediate feeling. Think about it more in terms of the big picture. And I would also say with this that, you know, of course, I gotta say for a small percentage out there, Mars does have to do with things like cars, machinery, and so you want to be careful around that. You want to be careful when driving, especially as we move into the later part of the week. And we also want to be careful with people's feelings as well. There may be heightened sensitivities as we move later into the week, with people having very strong reactions and buttons being pushed very easily. You could say the same thing to somebody 10 times, 9 times, it's totally cool. The 10th time, it just sort of, they hear it differently. They hear it their own way and they have a different reaction. And again, Mercury is in shadow. Mercury will be slowing down as we get to the end of the week. And so those misunderstandings tend to be a little bit more likely as well. So just keep that in mind. It's always good practice to strive to be as kind and gentle as possible. And at the same time, it's always good practice to check in with ourselves and to see why it is that we are reacting how we are. I think that's a big part of a spiritual journey. That's a big part of how greater consciousness is reached. When we're able to check in with ourselves, we're able to ask ourselves, okay, why do I feel this way? Why am I reacting this way? What did this person say that made me feel this way? And what does it have to do with me? That is where the power is, because at the end of the day, we cannot control other people. The more you try, the more stress you create for yourself. So really, it's not about other people, although sometimes it is, right? Someone might, you know, have a particularly sensitive reaction, and it isn't about us. It isn't about anything we did. It's about them and their journey and what they're going through. And the same is true for us as well. And then sometimes maybe, yeah, we do need to be a little bit more sensitive and a little bit more kind, diligently kind, I would say. What I love about this week is that love comes to Saturn. Love comes to where Saturn is. Now, even though Venus will not be meeting Saturn this week, you can bet that's coming up very soon as part of this going away party that Saturn in Sagittarius is having right now. And yet the love is there. Saturn alone can feel hard sometimes, can be challenging sometimes, but the energy is about to shift. And just before it shifts, we get to learn so much about ourselves, and we get to bring a greater level of acceptance for our own unique journey. Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm so grateful for it. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up. It means so much. You can get an expanded look at the week ahead. I talk about what this whole party and the sign of Sag and with Saturn over the last 3 years. I talk about it for each and every sign in the superstar horoscopes that are only available on my website, nadiyashah.com. And I also talk about Mars standing across Uranus and what that means for you as well. So you can check that out, astrofabulous.com or nadiyashah.com. I don't have a whole lot to say this week. I'm in Cancun. I'm enjoying myself. The weather's really nice. There's not a whole lot left to, oh wait, I do have something really big to share. I knew there was something. and it's something. I am so excited about this. Okay, big announcement time. I am incredibly honored, incredibly grateful, incredibly excited to announce that I am coming to England. I am coming to England. I have been confirmed to speak in England the first week of March. Now, I'll give you guys more details in the new year, but I will be speaking at Bath Astrologers Forum in Somerset, which is like 90 minutes outside of London. It is one of my absolute favorite cities on the planet. I spoke there back in 2011, and actually Bath is very special. Bath is the city where Uranus was discovered. So this is a very special city. Every time I go, I get some sort of an epiphany, a revelation, and it makes my life better. And I've been feeling long overdue, and then this wonderful opportunity came up, and it's just so perfect. It's so karmic. It's so synchronistic. And so I'm really, really grateful to the Bath Astrologers Forum for their invitation. And again, I'll give you guys more details in the very new year, but I will be in Bath, and I'm planning to be in Bath for a good 2 weeks. So this is my schedule right now. In late January, early February, I will be speaking in Kolkata at the IVC conference. And then in March, in early March, I will be speaking just outside of London in Bath, in the beautiful, historic, very special city of Bath in England. And then the weekend of March 19th, I'm going to be speaking in Serbia at a conference there as well, a very prestigious conference. So I'll give you guys more details in the new year, but I wanted to announce it because it's really special. When I found out, I did a little dance here in Cancun. I did a little dance knowing that I will be coming back to England, and I'm really excited. If you've been watching me for a while, you know I went to university in England, and so I have so much love there waiting for me. And it is a very special place for me, a very pivotal place as part of my spiritual growth. So I'm really excited about that. I will be available for consultations in Bath. I am planning to do at least 1 day, so likely 2 people I'll be able to do in London as well. So if you are in London and you don't mind coming out to Bath, that's amazing. If you're in Bath or in Somerset or in Bristol, you can schedule a reading as well. So if you're interested in a consultation, because I will be around and I would love to do that, it will be a limited number because of course I'm going to be busy with we're planning 2 speaking engagements, 1 full day workshop and 1 evening talk. So even though I'll be busy with that, I will make time for some consultations. So if you want a consultation in Bath or in London, please do reach out on my website, nadiyashah.com. Use the contact form and let me know, and we can make that happen. But I'm really excited to meet friends and fans in England. So many of you have been asking me for so long, and I thank you so much. So I'm really glad it's coming together now. Looking forward to being back there. Well, thank you so much for watching. I'm really so grateful for it, and I hope to meet you out there in the beautiful world. I will be in May in Chicago as part of the very prestigious UAC conference, uacastrology.com. So I look forward to meeting you all over the planet, this beautiful planet where I go. Thank you again. It'll be a great week. Enjoy.